by the matriarchy. It's a heart-link connection, mitochondrial frequency information transfer. And so everybody doesn't have access to the faculty to telepathically communicate. But everybody has the faculty, they just don't have access, because you need a combination of a certain type of women in order to give you access. You have to earn your right. Because the last time, a whole bunch of people got killed because one of the so-called guys said that they was too noisy. Their psychic chatter was interfering with his solitude. Bitch ass nigga. If you can train telepathy. I know how to teach it, but I can't. I have to have like people playing their parts to teach it. But yeah, it's a classroom exercise. Well, we used to have our classrooms in the field. We didn't have no four walls method. We had the open air method. We was doing something while we was using what we was doing as the tool to teach. Yeah, he was a bitch ass nigga. Sissy ass. My mama used to use telepathy on me. I didn't know what it was. I just thought I was hearing voices. And I used to dip, and then I hear my mama calling me, Rodney. And I'm like, y'all hear that? And everybody around me like, we don't hear nothing. And I'm like, okay. Well, I know my mama's voice, and I know she calling me. But I'm not gonna act like I don't hear her. So the territory that's being restored under the matriarch right now is the Western Territory, and the annexing of the territory of the Caliphs, which is also the Afro chiefs that was displaced on the West Coast. And now, in modern terms, them LA niggas on the rise. City of Angels, mofo. Red and blue. They got a knot in that shit now. It's a unity knot. All of the tribes is on deck. You can keep sleeping on them if you want to. Cali about taking their business back. All you gotta do is watch the little stories they telling you in the media that they minimizing what's actually taking place by telling you they planning on giving somebody reparations. We all know reparations is a carrot on the stick to make you surrender your birthright by forfeit. We ain't buying that. We not buying that. So the rare bird appeared in Oregon at the same time that the train, the Empress, was rolling across 3 countries: Canada, America, and Mexico. Not a coincidence. These are all knocks. The CIA uses the headlines to conceal the fact that you don't know what's going on the land, and they do, and they rubbing it in your face to humiliate you when you see that they've been telling us all along that the tribes is on the recovery effort, and it's just a matter of time. Reparations ain't gonna get no land back. Reparations has nothing to do with land. So as soon as you tie reparations to land, you got to find the land you originally from. And if you claim you a descendant of Africans that was held in bondage, you got to find your tribe in Africa to get your birthright, because the only land you are you inherit is the land of your ancestors. Your ancestral lands is what we call your sacred lands. This is why they can't run none of that on us that has been over here generation after generation after generation after generation, because we know our people, we know how we move, we know why we do stuff we do. So when the scientists are saying, I don't know why the black people does that, we know why we do it, because that stuff that's in us that ain't on us, that you can't take from us no matter how much you try to deprive us of it. You might be able to steal the capital that it produces, but you can't steal the talent. You might be able to steal all of the books that we write, but you can't steal the knowledge that we use to write them. The same way is you might be able to cover up all of our historical records with a whitewashed history, but you can't cover up the history that's in the DNA. And this is why the blood right is the first right of the earth right, and the first right of the earth right is the birthright of the mothers. And if you don't know that, then you don't know what's going on earth, right? This is our natural birthright, to reclaim earth at the close of the age. The age closed. We in phase 4, reconstruction, reconstitution of government. There's a whole nother paradigm playing out while y'all watching the political debacle be dangled in your face as if it's a true story in real time, when all the time it's a play. It's the great pantomime is what they call it in the military industrial complex. They're running the pantomime. Now it's time for us to start connecting the mothers across the land, the tribal mothers, not no regular, we ain't talking about the booty shakers at the clubs. We love them too, because we know that that's old musical conjure, rolling of the hips, right? Go back to Bobby Hemmett. See, he said that vulgar shit. That's what we into. He's not telling you that it's a science. The uterus is a musical instrument. And as long as them women is dancing, rolling their hips and shaking their rump shaker, the universe know life has a chance on that planet. Right? Life have a chance on that planet because the music is playing from the uterus directly to source. Because it's the only thing that's directly connected to source. So y'all be thinking, oh, look at her, she's so ratchet out here shaking her butt. Yeah, you better hope she don't stop shaking it, and the ones similarly situated, because when them uteruses stop sending that song out, somebody in trouble, and it ain't gonna be me, because I'm gonna do my part. Yeah, I don't care if you native, a Pan-Africanist, if you a Haitian, Jamaican, don't nobody know what a black motherfucker is for real. Because those are the tribes that was at war. You can't be free black. Because to be free black, you have to first conquer the free whites. And the free whites ain't white, and as long as you think they look like they white, you lost the game already. They look like us, but they ain't us. Hey, Hadia. She in here. I got a couple more minutes before I had to go on this other. I got 3 minutes. I got another live coming up. But Hadia, I was just telling them about you and the work you do, and that's what was the original purpose of the Califia Castle, and that there was a women's resort for the woman that was holding the Califia seat. It's no coincidence that Califia and Khalifa in Islam sound similar. That's not an accident, because the priestesses become each other as they pass the torch. They keep the same title, like Isis. Isis is not a name. It's not a personal name. It's a title to a position. The same with Inanna. It's just a different culture, and it's the same title, right? So when you understand these titles and names, it's not the same. Even half the names in the Bible, not names. They titles or they descriptive nouns that's telling you something, but they not translating it. They transliterating it. And this is keeping the frustration and the understanding of that religious paradigm from ever being broke free from, because you thinking that David is a man. No, David literally mean my beloved, right? So whenever somebody was being referred to as Dawid, they were saying my beloved. And Daniel means the judge of God, God's judge. So when they was referring to the priest, remember, his name wasn't Daniel. He was one of the three, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who was thrown in the furnace. But when he came out the furnace unscathed is when they named him Daniel, right? The judgment of God. They say, oh shit, he didn't burn in the fire. He walked out, and they tried to throw him to the lions, and the lions shut their mouth. And they said the only thing that got to prove that he is God's judgment. It has nothing to do with the name of a man. It could have been a woman for all we know, with all these cross-dressing priests out here pretending to be the priestesses of the matriarchs, and all the time they priests with testosterone and testicles, mad because their uterus fell out. Yep. Mississippians make up a whole lot of tribes. Like, all of the root tribes of the land is under the Mississippian culture. All up inside both sides of the Mississippi River is where the oldest tribes was established. And then we branched out to other parts of the land, and this is why the roots always trace back to the Mississippi River in one form or another. And so now we need to be reawakening the matriarchs, making them, bringing them together. They don't have to. This is what a lot of people think, they got to do something. They just got to meet. This is called tying the grid. The grid is tied by the most matriarchs reaching out to each other just for general acknowledgement, right? And when this happens, the energy is connecting. This energy transferring every time that takes place. So bring the tribal mothers you are aware of together just to say hi. You don't need no other reason. And you tying that energy of the matriarchs across the land, because they can't stop it. We too far into it to turn around. We've been past the point of no return about 9 months now. Ain't no turning back from here. We at the event horizon now. We done beyond critical mass, right? But we still need to do our part until we see it play out physically, because we moving spiritual energy in the 3-dimensional realm, which requires us to understand how the energy moves. And when you put the power where the power belongs, everything run the way that it's supposed to run. I don't care if the patriarchy was the right way to run the land, then I would be a patriarch. No. Matriarchy has been the only thing that proved to end wars. Every time the patriarch's in control in the historical record of the human family, we've been at war. Every time the mothers assert their right to reclaim the war stop. So if we want the wars to stop, we got to put the great mothers back. But if we want to keep going to war in this warring culture, we want some low vibration, low frequency stuff. I still get mad because I be wanting to tear something up. It's not the time to tear nothing up. It's time to build ourselves up. We got to build ourselves, build our sisters and our brothers, just by being who we are. So remember, the love key is the key to free Malachi. For all of the ones who want to know, if they don't know the love key, they don't know what it is, then they lost. They need to go find out so they can be of some assistance. It's there. All the information in the public. Find the love key, and you can set the captives free. But As long as we keep overlooking the divine right of the mother to protect the child and the divine edict of the fathers to protect the mothers that's protecting the children, then once we get that and we put that in its proper position, the machine gonna run the way it's supposed to run. The difference in patriarchy is a patriarch, and this also goes to intelligence, by the way. The patriarchs will put a person in a position to perform a function that is as clueless to what they doing and micromanage them while they doing the function. Now watch how the matriarchy do. The matriarchies want to know who is the most qualified to fulfill this function. You hold this function until somebody more qualified come along, and then you retire. Sometimes you have to train your own replacement in order for them to be properly trained, in order for them to take the position to perform the function that you formerly was performing. It's a relay race. It's a trickle down of information. It's laying the cards out on the table so you can understand what's taking place, right? Once all the cards is out on the table, then you realize that, wait a minute, we've been playing cards on my table the whole time, and until we flipped all these cards over, it didn't even dawn on me that the cards was telling me that we at my table. So, I gotta go over here to this other channel, and cause I got another video I gotta do. I don't know how to post the link on my Instagram, but I can post it on my Facebook. But I gotta see where we might be broadcasting from Instagram. I'm not sure yet. But remember this: if anything in you is giving you a validation to dislike somebody, to hate somebody, to look down on somebody, to treat somebody lesser, you have self-work to do. Those were the tools used to oppress us. And them same tools is going to be our obstacle to our liberation, because what they used to oppress us got us conditioned to turn the racism around, never knowing that the racism was not what they told us and showed us it was. It was something else being played out in legalese, and we had no knowledge of it, right? So the knowledge of the law begin to help you to see through the veil of ignorance that keeps you repeating the patterns of self-defeated behavior. Why would you want to defeat yourself when you got enemies outside you that you could be more enjoyably defeating, right? But sometimes your biggest obstacle and your biggest enemy is yourself. So sometimes you have to face the self until you conquer the self before you can face the enemy without. You have to get rid of the enemy within. That apply on a personal level, social level, family level, in every level. You can't do nothing. The enemy on the outside can't do nothing once you conquer the inner enemy. The inner enemy is the natural infiltration process. We've been taught to infiltrate our own psychological makeup and to feel like victims, so that when we start moving into positions of power, we will be abusive and reverse the same bullshit back on everybody else that we believe was inflicting that shit on us. Look, I'm all about the drama. I'm with the smoke. But when I see the methods used to keep us into a dupe position, a victim position, a miseducated position, I don't want to participate in that. I don't want to participate in that. I'm not going to participate in it because I've grown beyond it, and now it's asinine and childish to me. I don't care what your political party is. I don't care what your religious denomination, sect, or organization is. That